I had the microphone muted. Can you hear me, Beyond Fantasy? Can you hear me? Hello? Hmm. Maybe Beyond Fantasy is away from keyboard. Oh, awesome. Can you hear me, Beyond Fantasy? But can you hear me? Is the sound okay? Excellent. Wow. Let's wait until more people come so I can start talking about the updates. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Kath, thank you for being here. This is the channel's first live stream. Very excited about it. Although I think I can. Thanks. I'm actually remodeling a bit. I am changing some furniture here and there. I just came back from a long trip, and I definitely need to work on more things about the lighting. And yes, there's still a lot to do when it comes to the setup. But tomorrow, I'm going to pull an all-nighter so that tomorrow I can start the first video game live stream. I'm going to play Bad Dudes. I don't know if you have played that game, the beat 'em up. Yes, on in the one that when you need to rescue President Ronald Reagan. Very old game, but it's also pretty fun. It's really cheesy. It's quite famous because the reward that you're going to get is a hamburger. If you rescue the president, he's going to take you out for a hamburger. So it's pretty silly because you're fighting ninjas and all sorts of monsters, and that's what you get for saving the president, a hamburger. Yes, so I think I'm going to be playing that game around 12 p.m. CST, and I'll see if I can produce another video game live stream later on in the day around 6 p.m. CST, probably. So there are big plans for the channel. And I remember that I created a poll about several months back, and I had like the same number of people. Some of them were asking for retro games, and some others were asking for more modern games. So I want to balance those things. I think I think I'll be playing Grand Blue Fantasy. That fighting game looks amazing. Grand Blue Fantasy versus. Luckily, I think that well, Good Old Games has already started this sale, the Black Friday sale, and they have some really good offers, discounts, very deep discounts. And when it comes to Steam, they're going to start this Friday, I think. Yes, Josh. Beyond Fantasy. Yes, that's exactly. I want to try playing either as 2B or perhaps Beatrix. Although Siegfried, because I really like the look of Siegfried, he looks like a heavy hitter. I also want to try playing that character. We shall see. Hmm. And I think the lighting isn't too bad. I think it could have been a bit worse. Perhaps just making a few minor tweaks. Who knows? Yes, yes, definitely. I'll send you my Steam handle via Discord. Definitely. Maybe we can play some games. I can live stream some games with you and me playing. That would be pretty cool. Because I remember you recommended this game of like duels, like sort of like Japanese fighting. I don't remember the title, but definitely we need to play games one of these days. Mhm. Dojo Masters, exactly. We should try that one. I've never played it, but it definitely looks pretty interesting. Hmm. Ah, so there are various disciplines. Ah, who knows? Who knows, Josh? Because I've been a bit out of practice. It's been several months since I have played games seriously because I was moving around constantly through various places in Mexico. We shall see. Hmm. Now, when it comes to more content, definitely I'm going to be working on those video game let's plays. But I also wanted to do some videos where I just get to free talk while I am painting miniatures and why not? Why not? Because I'm really there are several miniatures that I need to paint. Hey, Pray Brian, welcome. Thank you for being here. But just definitely, perhaps I will do some live streams where I am just painting miniatures and talking and big plans for the channel. Hmm. Definitely, I want to create that sort of atmosphere alongside with the video game let's plays. And I am also thinking about retaking my professional game master, well, on the English side, because here in Mexico I have two groups that I am running tabletop RPGs professionally. But I'll see if I can create another group to run some actual plays. But it has been things that have been quite busy. Mm, I actually have a client that was asking for me to run a tabletop RPG that is just about to be released. The publisher is Stormforge Productions. So I need to talk with that client to see if he's still available. We already had a full group, so that's going to be quite interesting. It's a sort of like a medieval fantasy, but highly tactical with taking those small steps and attacks of opportunity and whatnot. The system looks pretty interesting, so I'll see if I can run that as an actual play. Run Rogue. Oh, excellent. I hope you're enjoying Solitaria. No problem. Don't mention it. I am glad you enjoy the book. But Solitaria definitely is a bit complex. That's why I'm creating the tutorial series. It's not hard once you get into the groove, into the flow of it, but definitely you need to consider a few things about it. Yes, Beyond Fantasy. I am monetizing my channel. So sometimes you will see these advertisements. The channel has turned into a bit of an interesting side business. I didn't expect that. I wasn't expecting it to be lucrative, but it was quite surprising. Ah, yeah, yeah, you need to make that cash exactly. You need the money to stay alive. That's the reality of things, and also enjoy the pleasures. Ah, excellent, Rundrog. The company, that publisher, also has another game that I have yet to play. It's called Axel or AX or something like that, and it's a cooperative journaling game. I don't know how it works, but it turns out that you are stuck in this like a video game world, and you can play it with other people. I don't know how it works, but maybe you should look into it. And maybe your niece and you can you and your niece can play that as well, but I have yet to see it. Sounds pretty interesting, though. Hmm. I was just telling the others, Randrag, that tomorrow I am going to be playing Bad Dudes around 12 p.m. CST, that old video game. And I'm definitely going to get Grand Blue Fantasy Versus in the Steam sale this Friday. Hmm. There are a lot of interesting solo and co-op games out there. There are some people that are younger that think that they are so common, but back in the day we didn't have those, and it was quite uh, vexing when you didn't have a group and you were stuck and you didn't have anything. You couldn't enjoy tabletop RPGs, but now this is the golden age of solo and co-op uh, RPGs and journaling games. That's a good one, Beyond Fantasy. The funny thing about the Bad Dudes video game is that there are actually two enemies that remind you of Marvel characters. There is a ninja with claws that he looks exactly like Wolverine, and another one is covered in fire, just like the Human Torch, And it turns out that back then the creators of Bad Dudes, or the publish the company running that were producing the game, they actually contacted Marvel and wanted to put the Human Torch and Wolverine into the game, but they said no. So they added those generic enemies. And if I didn't see that in a video, I would have had no idea that they were actually inspired by the Human Torch and Wolverine. You're new to Marvel? That's incredible, Beyond Fantasy. A lot of people, that's not common. Well, that way you can enjoy. I recommend the old comic books. The current ones are a bit too political. The political angle is too strong, but the old comic books of Marvel, they are pretty amazing. I especially like Maximum Carnage. That was the name, right? The entire saga with Carnage and Venom and Spider-Man. That was really cool. Yes, there's a certain charm when it comes to retro games and tabletop RPGs, video games. Definitely. There are some modern things too, but I usually enjoy the modern indie things because nowadays, like I said, that there are so many politics involved, and they are more focused on giving a message and not creating something fun. But those retro games, they are all focused on having fun and sharing that fun with others. There's actually a very cool manga that tells you about the creation of Mega Man. The main character is what's the name? I forget the name of the Japanese guy that created. Well, not it's one of the creators of Mega Man, but they tell you all about the troubles and tribulations that they had to go through to create Mega Man. A lot of people thought that it was going to fail, including the people at Capcom, because it was so difficult. But it turned out to be a huge success. The old Mega Man, the very first Mega Man, and it was quite innovative because back then the you couldn't select your stage. You had to play the game from stage 1 to stage 8 or 10 or whatever. And Mega Man, supposedly, according to that manga, supposedly was the pioneer in allowing you to select the stage where you wanted to start the game. If it's true, that's groundbreaking for that particular time. That was groundbreaking. Yes, in Japanese, he's Rockman, certainly, because he's rock and roll, the sister role. I don't remember why they changed it to Mega in English. I think Rockman could have been fine, although it sounded a bit too thematic. Like you have Rockman as if he was made out of stone, because you have Magnet Man, Snake Man, and so maybe they thought, they're going to think like Rockman is going to be like a man with a rock theme, like a robot that shoots rocks or something. Who knows? Yeah. But I'm definitely glad to be back. I had to go through so many things. Well, I think we have enough people in the chat at the moment. About 16 years ago, now I think it's 16 years ago, there were some situations when it comes to my family, my environment, and my life has been quite a mix of ups and downs. I've been in the lowest of the low and the sometimes the highest of the high, really high. For example, let me give you an example. When I was a kid, I have shared this before. There were moments that me and my friends, we only had two bikes, and when we wanted to go somewhere, we needed to take turns riding the bicycles, because you know that the law sometimes they don't like it when two people ride on the same bike. And so we were three of us were running while the other two were riding the bicycles, and then we had to take turns, and the other ones switched then, and we had to go through some very dangerous neighborhoods. You see those almost like dark comedy moments. The movie, the Euro Trip, that's the name, where you see like this dog walking around with the piece of a corpse hanging from the mouth of the dog. There are such places here in Mexico, but other places are really nice, almost paradise like. But I did it. I had to move through some of those horrifying places. But then again, like I said, ups and downs. And suddenly I was taking a limo in Las Vegas as a VIP in Luxor when the Luxor Hotel Casino was actually good. Right now, it is absolute garbage. But back then, it was so luxurious. Luxor was so luxurious, and I was a VIP, and the limo came to pick us up, and I was enjoying the best quality service imaginable. And that's what has been happening with my life. I have those ups and downs. And there was that moment when I was in the up over here in terms of luxury that because the situation is quite delicate, I will just say that there was a great betrayal and I went down bad, as in you're now all alone. And the people that you thought that were your friends, your allies, they have forsaken you. And I was almost on my own. I still had, of course, my family and a few friends, but it was quite shocking. But you know how Abraham is quite the savage. The El Jaguar is quite savage. So I started to plan ahead for my revenge. It took me 15 years of planning, exactly beyond fantasy. If it doesn't kill you, you become so strong. So I had 15 years of planning my revenge, and recently I took action at the right moment. Like I said, I cannot be too specific about things because these are very delicate matters. And so once more, I took control of many things. I'll just put it like that. But I thought that I just needed to take care of a small can of worms. And it turns out that there were so many containers of worms, there were so many evil people involved in this betrayal, many people involved. So I had to go a bit, how you say, invisible. My security advisor told me, stop doing those YouTube videos. We don't want people to know exactly where you are. If you need to keep on with your YouTube channel, just do audio only. Don't show your face. The situation was so serious that we actually couldn't use cell phones. We couldn't use cell phones because the security advisor told us it is very risky. Don't If you want to talk about the situation, you will have to meet face to face. You cannot use cell phones. You cannot don't even talk about it through email. Always face to face. Exactly. It is super scary. It was. I've been through various dangerous situations in my life, but this was. There were some pretty close moments. But like I said, at the end there can be only one. The major threats have been neutralized. Let's put it like that, because many things happened on stage, but also behind the stage, under the stage, above the stage. It was quite complex. But now the main threats have been taken care of. Now there are only like a few vermin scurrying around, and now I can come back and give it my all to the channel. So that's what my reason as to why I couldn't run tabletop RPGs. I couldn't do videos uh, because of security, because of being safe from the situation. I had to move around various parts in Mexico, keeping my location secret. But now things are a bit more relaxed, thankfully. But I definitely need to organize myself better, my schedule, because things have gotten so busy. Just as I have some free time in a sense, I also have some very heavy responsibilities. So I've actually thought, how am I going to continue with the channel, and is it possible for me to continue running tabletop RPGs as a professional game master? Thanks, Randrock. Definitely, things are finally there's a bit of a respite. Uh, things were pretty tense, but now things are looking up tremendously, I would say. And also, if you have been seeing my community posts, many things were revealed alongside those happenings, because, like I said, there were many cans of worms. I started to find out things about my family, but also about the what's happening in the world. You can see the clues that I have placed that's a science fiction in my community posts. The situation is not that mm, that simple. And of course, YouTube, remember, YouTube, this is science fiction. We are always talking about science fiction here, but this explains a lot of things. When you see that, why is this happening like this? Why are people not being supported or helped by their governments, etc.? So let's say that in science fiction, uh, they they are not from our lands. Those people that are in certain places, they are not from these lands in science fiction. They do not appear in the official maps in the science fiction setting. So it makes perfect sense. They never look at us as if we are part of them. They never look at us as if we are their people. We are not. And that also explains why they create so much division, that, oh, the colonizers, and oh, the history has been completely distorted in science fiction, so that we think that we have to fight each other, but no, they are the ones that are mm, intruding, coming uninvited in science fiction. So definitely it has a lot to do with that as well. So yes, those are the main plans for the channel, the video game let's plays. The Like I said, perhaps I'm going to be painting miniatures and just talking, like a cozy video of sort. Mm. And have you guys been pretty active when it comes to playing tabletop RPGs? What have you been playing? Or have you been on a hiatus of sorts? It's pretty weird to read the comments. I'm not used to taking a look at the comments and also looking at the camera. It's going to be pretty interesting when I am playing video games. I think I'm going to set up a second laptop on the side where I can read the chat, and then I have my main laptop in front to play those video games. Ah, Mark's Jan. Excellent game. Uh-huh. Ember Alpha? Ah, mhm. Are you running it as a game master, Josh? Beyond Fantasy, Mark's Jal? Or are you playing as a play? Ah, excellent. No, I can only imagine, because you already know how to create that immersion, that atmosphere. It must have been. I imagine that your sessions are really good. Mm. There are so many. Oh, but let's see. Randrog says, I've been on a hiatus with group play. Just started posting solo play sessions of Against the Wind here on YouTube. Ah, I haven't seen them. I'll try to check them out. Mm. I've never played Against the Wind. Is that's from Cesar Capacle? No, I think that's his name. I don't know how to pronounce him. The He has some pretty good games. Yes, yes, I saw it a while ago. Beyond Fantasy. It's I don't know exactly what it is, but I remember the cover. There is this guy walking against this frigid wind of sorts, if I am not mistaken. But if it's from Cesar Capacle, it's probably pretty good. I have a video of one of his games. It's called "What Lies Beneath the Darkness." No, it's something about darkness, but I remember it's like a dark Victorian-esque setting of sorts. Everspark. I have also seen that one. Yes, that looks pretty interesting. I think they all use the same system, but it's a really good system. Slug Blaster? Ah, Slug Blaster. I have no idea what that game is about. What's that game about? Beyond Fantasy. What's Slug Blaster? What do you have to, fight, or what sorts of adventures are you having, or what? I imagine that because it is slug blaster, there are guns, there are some sort of projectiles being shot at the enemies or something. Ah, that reminds me of another really cool tabletop RPG by what was the name of this guy? No, it's not Gimmick Man. It's oof. I don't remember, but he's the one that also created the tabletop RPG Behind the Walls and Kokoro Connect. That's a solo romance game. But he has this game that I'm currently not remember the. Let me look at it. Of course, I am so used to using crappy computers that let's see. No, it's still going to take a while. Yeah, well, in this game that I'm telling you about, you play it with Nerf guns. You have your bullseye. You hang this bullseye on the walls, and you have to shoot with your Nerf, and that deals damage depending on the attack. If you are dual wielding, you get to shoot a few times. Let's see this description from Beyond Fantasy of Slug Blaster. Sci-fi skateboarding, but your skateboard is a hoverboard over various creatures. There is literally a giant centipede that fits on your futures. The centipede it's your future. So it's very weird. So he it's the time and space that is about to happen. There are no skill checks, factions, and how do you play it? Do you play with a polyhedral dice or cards or what do you do? What do you use to play it? Like cards, dice, or is it diceless perhaps? I still need to update a lot of things because this laptop is pretty much a new laptop. It was the one that I purchased before going uh, incognito. So I am still downloading things. I still need to download Steam. I already have my antivirus. Hmm. Yes, Discord. This laptop also doesn't have Discord. Pull up these six and character sheets. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Blades in the Dark is actually good. You have those retcon moments, definitely, but I can imagine that is also good. A pull of these sixes. Yes, the sci-fi skateboarding thing reminds me of another tabletop RPG. This is so frustrating. I have to yet to put the links for Retro RPG and all of that, and download some of my other games here because it reminds me of a few other games. Yes, Summon Skate. Summon Skate, that tabletop RPG is also really good, but it's very weird to play. In Summon Skate, you have to use markers. You have this area, Summon Skate exactly. You have this area that represents like a cosmic um, battlefield, and you play it by using either skateboards or rollerblades or wheelchairs. And for those that want like the combat wheelchair, that game actually has wheelchairs. So you are basically tracing lines, and depending on the lines that you are tracing, you are creating these runes, and that's how you attack your enemies. But sometimes your lines cross with other lines. It sounds a bit complicated, and it's a bit of a gimmick that you have to draw those lines, but the lines represent you skating around, and you summon creatures that you created this rune, you traced this figure, and now you summon this demon or angel or elf or something. Uh-huh. A bit like Snake, exactly. A bit like that. I remember that you need to use different color markers. There is another game by that publisher that is called I forget the name of this one, but you are basically playing as druids, and the druids have these plants growing inside of their bodies, and you also need to trace with markers the patterns of the plants that are growing inside of you to activate powers, different abilities and whatnot. But yes, I'm going to check out that one, the Slug Blaster. sci-fi skateboarding, and you're using a hoverboard. That sounds pretty. But the thing about the giant centipede that fits on your future, that's pretty crazy. Hmm. Hmm. They are constantly producing so many things. There is no end to things. Back in the old days, back in the 70s or 80s, although I'm more of an 80s 90s guy, but I heard from the people that were in the 70s, you had the options were so limited. But now there are just so many RPGs out there, which is a good and a bad thing. A bad thing for the publishers that are bringing out their games, and a lot of people usually do not even play them. They do not touch them because they are playing other games, so the competition is quite intense. But at the same time, for us, for the consumers, we have so many choices, and there is always a tabletop RPG out there that to your liking that you will enjoy. Mhm. When it comes to my video game actual plays, I also would like to start one of those long RPGs. I'm thinking that perhaps is Origins. That's more like an action JRPG, but one of those games that I play across several videos. Hmm. Mark's Yell has a lot of potential because the way that they modified Mark Varg, I think they did an excellent job. It's funny how a lot of people do not like the official over there the official Dark Souls tabletop RPG, and there are so many other Souls-like games that some people would consider that they surpass the official game. I actually like the official Dark Souls tabletop RPG. I'm actually looking forward to getting the next book. What is it called? Realms of Journeys, and who knows what. And that's basically it allows you to play Dark Souls 2 because the one over here, this one is basically Dark Souls 3. You do have some material to play Dark Souls 1 and 2, but the book of journeys, I don't remember if it allows you to represent the Dark Souls 1 or 2 situations, but it's one of those two. Okay. Hmm. I was also looking at this book over here while I was waiting for more people. The Secret of the Sages Game Design. This one, I got it a long time ago. Let's see if I can get that a bit closer. Uh-huh. This book came bundled with a program software to create your own video games, but the software was quite lackluster. It only had like a disk. It was C++ programming language, and you it came with this book. But this book is really good, and I am surprised as to how many things that you find in this book it can be applied to tabletop RPGs, even though it's focused on video games. When it comes to tabletop RPGs and even storytelling games as well, this has some pretty good advice on getting the players into it, creating a lot of interaction in the scenarios. The levels of a video game, although they are quite limited because they are limited to what has been programmed into that game, in game design they give you a general overview. Welcome back, Beyond Fantasy. I was just talking about this book. I don't know if you know about it. I think they are selling it separately, although it's a pretty old book, so I imagine that it's not that easy to find. But I was telling everybody that this book came bundled. I purchased it around in the 90s. It came bundled with a C++ disk, so it was like an encourage like a package that package that encouraged you to learn how to design video games. And I was just like messing around that. Oh, I wonder how you create video games. Hmm. Definitely run rogue. This is good for all mediums. Yeah, so the book came bundled with that disc. and it has many of the great ones, the great designers here. You have the Shigeru Miyamoto. Well, I don't really like Shigeru Miyamoto as a person, but I do like him. I like his ideas and the things he has created for video games. You also have information, well, tips and advice, sage advice from Brad McQuaid, from Tommy Tallarico, the legendary music composer for video games. You also have Gabe from Valve, from Steam. He also shares some of his wisdom here. I wonder if there's like an index telling you all of the uh, people here. John Romero, of course. Well, sadly, a lot of those creators, they have fallen from grace. Some of them because several actions that they have taken throughout the years. No, I already have cats. Thank you, Beyond Fantasy, but I already have cats, and I don't plan on taking more at the moment. But this book, if you can get it, I have seen it sometimes in eBay, and I think I saw it once in Amazon. So I think it's definitely worth getting. I wonder if there is some sort of a quote that I can read to you that is interesting. Look, this is from Shigeru Miyamoto. He says, making games fun is our only objective, and we are always making an effort to accomplish this goal. I believe that the creation of game characters is simply one of the processes to achieve this goal. If Mario games hadn't been fun to play, the character wouldn't be popular at all. That's definitely very important. You should focus on making games fun. This is not about communicating a political message. When you create a video game, when you create a tabletop RPG, it's fun. They are games. For goodness sake, they are games. They are supposed to be fun. Even though a lot of people, well, rather like spiteful people, they have distorted that concept of removing the fun from games. That's the priority games. That's why you play games in the first place, because you want to have fun. Yeah. Let's see if there's some more words of inspiration or advice here. There was this guy, the level lord. I forgot his name. He's the creator of many levels from Duke Nukem, and he gives some great advice when it comes to designing levels that also apply to tabletop RPGs. The level lord. Let me see if I can find him. He was pretty charismatic back in the day. The level lord had this big mustache and then like a cowboy hat, and he was like the one of the just like the charismatic personalities. Level design. I think we're going to find him here in this section. Level design. Level design. Level design. Where are you, level lord? If only I could remember your name. Here it is. The level lord. They they don't tell you his name. They just call him the level lord. They should reveal the name. Well, here's some words of wisdom from the level lord. The first and foremost question to be answered about any game, whether it's a shooter or whatever, is it fun? Again, emphasis on fun. Is it fun? This applies to the game itself, of course, but it also has great bearing on each and every component of the game, including level design. As a game is developed, this question should be answered many, many times. The fun factor is often forsaken for cutting edge flash, and much effort is taken away from the game itself due to the ever increasing computer performance on which games are played. Nonetheless, it seems paradoxical that many games simply are not fun. They look great, but they aren't worth playing. Cutting Edge is indeed fun when it adds cool weapon effects, and faster game performance. But it's not cool when a developer spends too much time with research and development only to forget the main purpose of a game: fun. Pure wisdom, and they all meet at that certain moment of having fun. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Let's see if I can find other personalities here. If you can think of famous game designers or uh, musicians in video games or something, let me know. Perhaps I will find them here. Let's see other people. Let's see. There's there are some words here from Peter Molyneux. A lot of people hate Peter Molyneux because of what he did with Fable and whatnot. So I think they will definitely not enjoy reading his words because they're a bit hypocritical. Many of the things he preached back then, he did not follow them later on. Let's see other game designers here. Gabe Newell from Valve Software. This is from Gabe, the owner of Steam, and he shares with us this wisdom. The first thing you need to understand is, why is this an interesting game? What about the experience we are providing for a customer is unique or worth their time and money? This is a very serious question, and most game designs fail at this point. Part of the reason that game designs are led astray is that some choices, such as rehashing an existing game design with a slightly modified gameplay or art direction, will work under certain circumstances and not others. People doing a sequel to a hit game can get away with a much less innovative game design. Other companies seem to think that they can do game designs that are sequels to other people's games, and that has a much lower likelihood of being successful for a variety of reasons. Maybe that explains why he didn't continue the Half-Life series, because I can certainly see how his philosophy, he doesn't want to mess up Half-Life according to that philosophy. Mr. Final Fantasy, what was his name? Yamaguchi? Hironobu? Let me look for Final Fantasy. Hideo Kojima, I don't think we will find him here. I will search for him, but let's see. Is Final Fantasy mentioned in this game? Final Fantasy. Hironobu Sakaguchi. Of course. Hironobu Sakaguchi, where are you? Let's see what sort of wisdom you can share with us. Hironobu. Hello. He's not here. Did they mess up? They messed up the index? Yes, they messed it up. Oh, you only have his biography. It looks like he didn't. Let's see. Let me look for the name. Hironobu Sakaguchi. Hironobu. No, Sakaguchi. Let's look for Sakaguchi. He's actually a really good designer, in my opinion. Yes, there he is. Page 52. 52. Hironobu Sakaguchi. It seems like, yes. Hironobu Sakaguchi-san says, there are many factors that are lacking in today's games. They range from the constraints of the hardware itself to problems stemming from the network or user interface. Of course, the story, characters, and world settings aren't being given much thought either. But this is part of the evolutionary process of the industry in which we work. It gives us reason to evolve, to do better each time around. Actually, to be in the process of evoking may be the best place to be because of the excitement associated with thinking about the future and how things will change. I think that is certainly correct. But I was thinking about Hironobu Sakaguchi. He certainly has kept that same Final Fantasy formula throughout his creations. I think there was only this video game for the Wii that was not very successful. I forget the name. But when it comes to his other entries, like he collaborated for the Blue Dragon video game, if I remember correctly. He always kept that formula, turn-based battles, a strong story. I think that's important for game designers to keep that solid base, because otherwise you start to lose yourself. For example, the creator of Castlevania, well, he was not the creator, he was, you could say, the perpetuator, the one who continued the series. Iga, right? Igarashi. He does an amazing job when it comes to creating. Yeah, Blue Dragon. He actually worked with Akira Toriyama, the exactly the illustrator, the creator of Dragon Ball, the artist, and the creator of the entire saga. They worked for Blue Dragon to create Blue Dragon, definitely. But like I was saying, Igarashi from Castlevania, he's so good at designing Metroidvania experiences. But there was this one time when he was being mocked that he only knew how to design Metroidvania games. And in order to prove those people wrong, he created a very mediocre game. I don't even remember the game, but you played like as a cyborg character. It was pretty. They definitely need to release Blue Dragon for the PC, at the very least for the PC. And when it comes to, like I said, the Castlevania guy, Igarashi, he ended up producing an awful game because he focused too much on the criticism from someone else. If you are the best at designing something, just keep going for it. If you are the best at designing tabletop RPGs, or like I said, in the case of video games, action games, role playing video games, sports games, stick to your strength. Maybe after you practice a lot and you do a lot of research and you put more effort into things, then you can design other games. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I wonder if there are words from Igarashi here. Igarashi. Igarashi. Igarashi doesn't appear here. How sad. What other game designer? Let's see if Hideo Kojima is around here. He also fell a bit from grace when he had that harassment issue with the actress that played in one of the Metal Gear games. Quiet, the character Quiet, the model that's serves as her the body, the model for the body. Uh, there were some issues there. There were also some situations with these coworkers. Mm, let's see. Yes, Kojima. No, he's not here. No Hideo Kojima. Mm, let's see what other designer or creator. Some of them actually repeat their sections. That is, you have a designer speaking throughout various sections of the book. Well, let's see John Romero, just because he is one of the great creators. John Romero. Even though there were some issues later on with his work, Romero. Doom. He's going to talk about Doom. Let's see. John Romero. He says the following. A level designer has a very responsible position because maps are where the game takes place. Well, that's, yes, pretty obvious, but important nonetheless. There are some, let's see if there are some more wiser words from him. It says here, well, they are paraphrasing more or less. It says, first, Romero maintains that the inevitable breaking up of responsibilities at a development house can take away from the overall vibe and consistency of the level. Some companies do their maps in stages with many different people handling different tasks. There's architecture, texture placement, object placement, and this specialization can take away from the cool factor. Yes, that also applies to tabletop RPGs. Definitely Beyond Fantasy. This is a really good book. But when it comes to drawing some parallels between what appears in this book and tabletop RPGs, do not become too fixated on a particular thing or aspect of the level. Like I said, criticized from some Wizards of the Coast books, the more recent ones. they started to talk about the details, that there is this bed and the sheets are folded in a triangular fashion, and the pillow is not exactly aligned with the bed, and they start to fall into those horrible details. Almost nobody cares about those details, but later on, people revealed, people on the inside, that they were actually putting so much, is too many unnecessary details, because they wanted to make the book thicker. They wanted to raise the page count to charge more for the book. So yes, definitely, when it comes to describing a room, stick to the basics. Don't go into insane autistic levels of detail. That, oh, and you see the wallpaper in the lower right corner of the wallpaper, there is a small stain, like a grayish stain. And in the ceiling, if you look at the upper left side, there is the small crack. Who knows what produce? Don't go into those details. If the players want to obtain more details about anything, they're going to tell you. I examine. They're going to roleplay. I examine the desk. I open the drawers. I etc. Hmm. Definitely. Cliff Blesinski from Epic Games. That's also one of the heavy hitters in game design. Robert Jordan. Robert Jordan. That author, it sounds familiar. Isn't he from the Wheel of Time? Maybe I'm confusing him. Randrog, if you can clarify this, because I'm not sure who Robert Jordan is. Cliff Blesinski explains, good pacing is a skill that applies to every element of level design. Pace your flow of monsters, also applicable. Uh-huh. The Wheel of Time. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes, definitely. Look how this applies to tabletop RPGs. It pays your flow of monsters and have areas where the player feels like he is being engulfed by less intelligent cannon fodder foes, as well as areas that have just a few devious baddies or bad guys that are hard as nails to take out. Know how often to reward the player with goodies or health. Don't cover the level with items. Rather, give him the prizes after monsters are killed, doors are opened, or a ledge is reached. There are so many things in this book that apply to tabletop RPGs. Hmm. Incredible. And that is also unsurprising, because many of these designers used to play Dungeons and Dragons. Many of the video games that we have today owe it all to many tabletop RPGs from the past. Ken Saint Andre, the creator of Tunnels and Trolls. It just let me get the game design secrets of the sages, second edition. I never saw the first edition. I imagine that the first edition was not as good. Guys, you have no idea how nice it feels for me to do this and not have the screen paralyzing each time. I remember, because of my old videos, that my computer was terrible and I did all of this and the video was awful. My computer simply couldn't handle the live stream. But now I can do this. I can show you, hey, take a look at the book, and the image looks so crisp. Excellent. mm, let's see, what other advice do we have here? Yes, definitely Beyond Fantasy. For the ones that want to further support the channel, I also activated the super chat or super thanks button. That button is pretty nasty. If you want to smash it, definitely give it a go. Or if not, I understand. I've been there. If not, let it in peace. Perhaps later on in a future live stream, you will get to punish it severely. Mhm. Let's see. Let's see. Ron Gilbert. The super thanks button. That's the one with just to the right side. There is a little, like a dollar bill, like a little rectangular square. I think I have it activated. I'm pretty sure it's activated. You have a heart on the right side, and I hope it is activated. If not, well, forget about it. I'll have to verify that later on. I am almost certain that I activated that one. Mhm. Tommy Talarico, the master, one of the best music composers. He has created music for um, Prince of Persia, Prince of Persia, Aladdin, Earthworm Jim, MDK. He speaks. I truly believe music is 25% of the gaming experience. For the most part, there are four parts of a game: art, which provides you with your graphics, visuals, animations, etc. Then you have programming, which is the way the game moves, interfaces, acts, etc. Next, you have design, which is the level layout, the fun factor, presentation, etc. And audio, which can set a mood, accent, emotion, and pretty much set the emotion for the scene or level. For example, you could have a scene where a character runs up to a huge cliff and slowly looks over it to reveal miles and miles of scenery. Depending on what the audio is doing, is how the player is going to react to that circumstance. If the music is haunting or scary, it may seem like you're getting chased and you are trapped. If it's beautiful and epic, it will give you the sense of beauty and accomplishment. Oh, yeah, and if it's country music, you'll want to turn the game off and shoot yourself in the head. I imagine, I don't know why, but I imagine Tommy Tallarica doesn't enjoy country music. Uh, yeah. Well, it really takes me back. I used to carry this book around when I went to, it was in high school, I think. I used to take it to school. And when I was bored, I just took it out and started to read. Surprisingly, it has been undamaged. I, considering all the times that I used it, let me show you the back of the book. It should have been falling to pieces right now, but that also speaks about the great binding, which is the company Brady Games. For those of you that haven't purchased our Brady Games strategy guide, they used to be really good, not only because of their content, but the quality of the books. They last you for years. I have some of these Brady books, old strategy guides for Final Fantasy 11, 13, the dot hack games, and they are still in one piece, even though I was pretty rough on them. Mhm. Well, this has been what Brady Games is the tier. Mhm. Definitely. This has been a great live stream, the first live stream of the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it quite a bit. Thank you so much for being here. I'll have to pull an all-nighter to get to understand how to actually play video games in a live stream. I still need to. I am going to be using this program, Mi Release Action, but I hear that it takes a bit of time to learn it. But I will try to learn it in this very night so that I can play Bad Dudes tomorrow. Ah, yes, no, well, I'm glad that you found it enjoyable and informative beyond fantasy. Well, I'm off to eat some oatmeal because I'm getting a bit hungry. I only had my nutritious pasta for the day, and now I am in the mood for some oatmeal. So, once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. And for those that couldn't make it to the stream, of course, I hope you have enjoyed it. Maybe you are watching it later on. I hope you found it also informational and entertaining. Bad dudes, bad dudes. Yeah, I'm coming with my oatmeal. I think I should play bad dudes with my tank top, my usual tank top, because the bad dudes fight the ninjas with their tank tops. So it's going to be like a bit of a cosplay. Yeah. Well, once again, thank you and see you all later. This is Abraham El Jaguar signing out. Signing out.